Duncraig Learning Community is situated about 15-20 kilometres north of Perth. We have 548 students in our primary school, which is from K to Year 6. Our kindergarten have 4-year-old children, and we're using the early years learning framework. And what we're trying to do across our primary school is to use aspects of the early years learning framework in flexible learning spaces and colour and movement of different learning environments, but obviously using the Australian curriculum as the vehicle for the content. We're seeing some wonderful things. Our children are engaged, they're commenting that they don't feel they're learning, they're just coming to school and playing and enjoying themselves, and we're seeing such a depth in learning.
One of the best things about rolling out the Australian curriculum at our school has been our ability to really pool our resources together and work collaboratively. So we were very intentional in stepping out the process one step at a time, so that we had all hands on deck when we were implementing English, and then we moved to mathematics, and as the excitement was building we moved to history and to geography. Well, as the task became larger, I guess our staff developed their confidence because they could see it implemented in the classroom, they could see it happening live. Eventually we got to the point where integration became a real buzz in our school, and that's where we're at now. We're working out how do we integrate different learning areas across the curriculum.
When we're integrating the different learning areas, we found it really easy to use things like history, geography and science, because they can tie things together really well, and also the topics are quite interesting for the students as well. We take the content descriptions and we look at which ones we can kind of fit together and integrate together across learning areas. So first off, we actually look for what's going to engage the kids in learning. We use a pro forma that starts with a big idea, and we take that big idea from the content descriptions of the learning areas that we're covering. And then we generally come up with some intended inquiry questions, because the process that we want our students to go through is to inquire and to learn and think through them for themselves. The achievement standards are the things that we hope the students are able to demonstrate or to show or to do based on the content descriptions that we are teaching. And then we take both the content descriptions and the achievement standards and we turn them into learning intentions. So we have learning intentions for each learning area, but also those learning intentions flow across areas very easily as well. The assessment that we do is much more rich because the students take their own inquiry question and then go and study it further themselves, and so they can choose how they're going to present what they've learnt, their knowledge and their skills. If a child chooses to go and inquire about one topic and we can't actually assess them for something we need to assess them on, that's a bit difficult. So we have some mandatory tasks that they must complete, and we also have, as part of our inquiry, they can go off and investigate things and then demonstrate their knowledge in different ways.
In this role, I'm able to work shoulder to shoulder with my colleagues. Together we come up with planning ideas and strategies on how we're going to implement the Australian curriculum within the area of literacy. As a school, we worked very hard on what. We knew what we had to do. Now we're very excitingly taking it to the next level. How are we going to do this? How are we going to inspire our students to have a love of learning while having the national curriculum underpin our practice?
My name is Joanne Urquhart and I have a complex role at the school. I'm the teacher librarian, the coordinator of the Gifted and Talented program, and the curriculum coordinator for the whole of this ELC staff. As part of my role, I work with the teachers in our library time. I use that as team teaching time. We take a different curriculum focus each term. This term we've been working on oral language because we found that was an area that needed extra work. So by working as a team, we can look at all the different areas that we want to work on. We can get the children to be differentiated within the lesson. It also gives the classroom teacher a much better picture of what's happening in the whole class. It then allows us to integrate that into the next subject area, because our next term will be history. So the skills we've learnt in our oral language are going to then be used in history because we'll do presentations. The oral language also helps to develop our writing, which will be demonstrated in our history project next term as well. Within our staff, we have certain people who have stronger skills in certain areas, certain curriculum areas. We're able to target those and set them up to do demonstration lessons or to help with programming.
We are really fortunate in St Stephen's School that we work quite well as collaborative teams. So the Year 5 team, including the teaching staff and other staff in the school, have coordinated a lot of the projects, and I think that collaboration among your team is essential to be able to get these projects off the ground. And we are also really fortunate that the students were engaged and they have taken a lot of the responsibilities. We've been really interested in using sustainability across the curriculum and have found lots of opportunities to do so quite naturally in the students' day-to-day lives. We began our planning really in term 2, looking at the design and technology area, and we have used our WasteWise school and our WasteWise committee as the focus, but we are now looking in term 4 to really extend that across all of the Year 5 cohort. Our sustainability, we feel, has crossed a number of learning areas. This includes design and technology. We've also used it a lot in our literacy. I think there has been a lot of aha moments since we've started the project, and in particular it has been for those students that you may not necessarily see those abilities in the classroom, and when they are engaged in more of a hands-on approach, it really is very beneficial for their learning, and it provides those sort of opportunities to communicate the ideas that you would like to communicate in the classroom, but actually is better communicated in this sort of environment, particularly for certain students.
The Australian curriculum content descriptors just allow you to understand and unpack what is expected within that area. It's allowed teachers to be able to have a conversation about what that means to them, and to really get on an even playing field as to really where we're taking children's skills, and also in moderation to be able to have a look and say, well, what does that work sample look like? And the Australian curriculum work samples give us so much knowledge across the whole country about what particular standards look like.
One of the challenges with rolling out the Australian curriculum was having that sense of trust in my colleagues, and knowing that it wasn't all about me and me doing everything, but rather distributing the leadership among those people who had expertise and a real passion for it as well.
So one aspect of the Australian curriculum that really excites me are the general capabilities. The fact that you can go into the Australian curriculum and see different tags of where the general capabilities are woven throughout is just, for me, is gold. The more we can interlink everything and show that we're bringing out all of those wonderful, rich general capabilities through everything that children are learning, means that the curriculum becomes much more meaningful, much more engaging, and much more relevant.